this room is blocked off from the rest of my house, so it's behind a bookshelf. So if I come down the stairs in my house and I'm gonna cut in a video of me walking into this special room and just showing you how magic the experience is to witness this for the first time. So I made the decision that moving forward, I'm gonna record YouTube videos from my Speakeasy. Yes, there's bourbon behind me. Yes, it's real. And so I'm going to show you a tour of my Speakeasy / recording studio that I'm using for the latest version of my YouTube channel. So check it out. And here is my Speakeasy / recording studio video tour. Okay, so let's talk about equipment that goes in here. This is a pretty crazy operation. Basically, I use this room during the weekends to entertain people, to have people over. We do blind whiskey tastings, we do wine tastings, we have dinners in here. It's really the coolest space possible. So I'll show you a picture of what it looks like without any equipment in here. But then during the week when I'm doing my recording, I've decided to take this thing over. And this is crazy how I've set this thing up. So first of all, this is a very cavernous room without the intimacy of having recording equipment and soundproofing. And the first thing I had to do to this room is soundproofing. What you'll notice is that there's blankets around me. So all the way around me are blankets that are room dampening. They're almost like moving blankets, but I'm hanging them from the ceiling, and all sound just blocks and stops inside of these blankets, okay? So there's some on every single area of me, and then there's some on the table right here because I had sound bouncing off of the table, okay? So soundproofing is really important. But this is such a big room that 4 blankets wasn't enough. And so I have sound panels in each corner. I have 4 corners of sound panels that block the sound from bouncing back and forth. And so I have soundproofing that level. And then I also have soundproofing on top of my microphone itself. So my microphone has soundproofing that catches and captures the sound so it doesn't bounce back into the microphone. And so that's a crazy, crazy setup that I had to do in order to get some level of soundproofing into this place, because the first videos that I did sounded like I was in a tin can. So the first thing that I have in this studio is soundproofing, and it's all temporary. Okay, so I hang it from the ceiling. I got to get up on a ladder, hang it from the ceiling. It sort of makes this thing not look the greatest, but it basically goes away once I'm done recording. So it's only something that happens during the recording time. And I'm really recording basically once, maybe twice a month in this area. So it's something that I use every day otherwise, and then I just use it for recording. So it's almost like, even though it's a home studio, it's not a permanent studio that I do this thing. So if you notice that I'm moving around a little bit in the different videos, or that things are changing, that's really what's happening here. Or if you notice that the upper camera is not always working the same way, it's because I'm recording this solo. That's the other thing to note, is that I'm the only person in this room right now. And so that's that. Okay. So what else is in this setup? Okay. So we have the soundproofing, which is really important. I'm going to link out to my kit, and you can see the soundproofing I use. A lot of it I bought off of Amazon, or you can buy it off of B&H Photo and Video, but soundproofing is very important in a room like this. Okay. The next thing is lighting. Now, you might be surprised, but I'm not actually using a lot of lights. I have a lot of lights that I've purchased for my other studio setup, but I only have one light, and it's just right over there, sort of a key light that's coming in on my face, and then everything else is the natural light in this room. Now, I built this house in 2021, and working with a builder, we have pretty great lighting in place. It's very soft, it's very mood lighting, and so we're just using the mood lighting, and then I have the floodlights in the back that are flooding in and making the bottles sort of lit, right? Now, I actually have different scenes of how I can do this thing. It's probably a bad idea to do this, but I have an app here that I can use, and I can go to the mood lighting, and you see that's almost a little bit too intimate with me, so I decided to make the call. I'm going to use the onboard lights here. Okay, so I can turn the light back on the flood. It looks a lot better. And full disclosure, my camera overheated as I was doing that. So if you notice that things look a little bit different, that is what's happening. I'm doing this sort of the second take here. Okay, so that is the lighting piece. I have one light in the corner. I'll put the links up to that as well, how I fill the room. It's a soft box. It's a key light. It's at a 45-degree angle that lights it up better. Could that be better? Yeah, probably. I could do a better job there, but I'm a one-man show, and so that's how I'm doing it as we are talking today. Okay, so I just mentioned cameras. I have 2 cameras, and they're basically the exact same camera. They are the Sony A7 III, Alpha 7 III camera bodies. The reason why I got 2 of the same is because I like having the same settings, and it's nice to have some kind of redundancy. So I wanted to have a 2-camera setup for a few reasons. One is that it makes edits a lot cleaner. One is that it's easier to operate. And then, so when I'm cutting things together, I can use 2 different cameras and 2 different things. Now, there's different lenses. The one that I'm looking into right now is a lens that I've had for a long time. I actually don't even know if I can tell you the exact dimensions of it, but it's worked great for me over the years. It's been my workhorse and it works in pretty much every setting. So I'll link to that in my kit link as well. And then I have the video camera that is sort of following me around. That's a 55 millimeter prime lens. It's what I got my Sony A7R camera a long time ago. So it's about a $300-$400 lens that I use, and it's 55 millimeter, and it works perfectly for this distance. I don't think there's any other lens that would work in this situation. And so I'll show you in some B-roll video here of how these things come together. But basically the cameras are pretty close to each other, but it's the lenses that give you the different depth of effect, okay? And so that is how that's working. Now, the next thing is, since I talked about how there's a rotating camera, above my head is this thing called, I got it off Kickstarter, it's called the Marble Orbit. And it's basically, it can spin around 360 around an object. In this case, the object is me. I train this little ball to hang from it, and it takes my place, and then it just basically goes around me. Now, I'm not using it at a 360 degree angle. I'm just using it a little bit because of all the things in the soundproofing in the background. You would just see blankets if I didn't make it a tighter radius. But the idea here is to give some other kind of effect that I'm not just on some kind of weird back screen, so people know that I'm actually in a real room, in a real place. And then also, I just thought it was cool. I bought it off Kickstarter. Don't have to justify that. Kickstarters are cool. Kickstarters are awesome, okay? Now, next, we have more going on here. We have the microphone. So I have one single microphone I'm down to. It is a Sennheiser boom microphone. I paid a lot of money for it, and it's awesome. It's amazing. When I first started with this thing, I bought a few different boom microphones, and I've been disappointed. I've been mad. I've been upset, and the audio sounded like crap. I've used lavalier microphones. I've tried everything, and this thing is fantastic once I figured it out. The only reason why it's going to work is if I have the right soundproofing. It will suck without soundproofing. It has to point directly at me, basically. And not only does it point directly at me, it needs to go in through some equipment in order, basically it goes through SLR plugs through equipment to get it into the point where I'm recording the sound in GarageBand. So the sound is coming in on GarageBand, and it's going through the Sennheiser microphone, and that is basically how I'm able to record this. I'm looking at the sound right now. I can see that the audio levels are good and solid, and then each time I export a video, I export it as a raw WAV file, and then we attach that to the video files from the two different cameras, and things come together in that way. Okay, so Sennheiser microphone, linking to that in my kit. Funny thing is I had to rig it together with blue painter's tape. My microphone stand, I don't have the right microphone stand for it. And every time I want to order it, it's like right before I'm recording. So I just use tape to tape it together. And that's a dirty little secret of this thing. Sometimes you just need to tape it together. So I have a microphone stand. It's not the right one. And I actually have no idea how to fix it. So I fixed it with blue painter's tape. Okay, Scotch tape. Shout out to St. Paul, Minnesota, where 3M makes that tape. Okay, what else do I have here? I have my laptop. It is a 1-year-old M1 MacBook Pro, and I use that one with an input from my Sennheiser microphone. Right now I'm just using that one to do audio recording on GarageBand, but I also use it to calibrate the floating camera. So those things are both plugged into my laptop, and the reason why I do that is because you can only have one Sony camera working at a time. So I use my laptop to calibrate this one. And then the other computer I have in here is a Mac Mini. It's a little bit older. It's no longer my primary computer, but the Mac Mini is hooked into the other camera, and it's hooked into a few other things. It's hooked into the internet. It's hooked into this monitor. I have a 27-inch monitor that I'm using to look at myself right now. So I use that as a way to see what's going on, to verify what's happening and that this thing looks good. I use both computers to upload the files to the internet, to our Google Drive when they're done, so that they're able to be taken down and edited. And so I have a huge monitor to do this thing. Now, I've had this before where I had a monitor sitting on top of the computer or the camera, but with the way this Orbit thing works, that's using the hot shoe that the microphone or normally could go onto, or the monitor. The other thing is that I have a teleprompter, and that wouldn't allow me to do that either. So I'm not using a teleprompter right now, but I use the Glide Gear teleprompter from time to time when I'm reading off a script. I can't do anything on top of it. So I can't do a flash, I can't do a microphone on top, and I can't do a monitor to look at things. So I'm having these things output right to my computer. which is actually pretty nice because then you know that it's working digitally and everything like that. So that is the equipment setup. I have a keyboard here, I have a mouse, I have an iPad just in case I need it. I had a second microphone, but I'm no longer using that second microphone once I proved that the first one worked. I have a selfie stick type thing that allow me to do videos on my iPhone at the same time if I wanted to record this for social media. I'm not going to cross that path quite yet, so I'm not really worried about doing triple duty with social media videos quite yet. I'll just cut them out of the YouTube setup, I guess, is what I'm going to have to do. Let me see. What else have I missed with the equipment? I have a tripod. That's one of my Sony A7 IIIs is sitting on. It's the carbon fiber one from Peak Design. It's like the best tripod ever. Folds up in nothing. I've been using that for years for traveling. The funny thing is I started out with a lot of equipment that I used for landscape photography. I'm not sure if anybody knew this about me, but I have been a published and semi-professional photographer, landscape photographer in the past. I've been in magazines, I've been on websites, people have bought my stuff. And I started by using a lot of that same equipment to record these videos. But the more that I learned, you sort of need to have that specialty video body as well as this specialty landscape camera body. And so I'm using video camera bodies. I would not use these for landscape photography. I have other camera bodies for that. Videography, camera stuff, very expensive hobby. All in, I've put well over $10,000 into the things that I'm using to record this. But the good news is a lot of these things I've had other use for and other purposes and other life for. So it's not like I spent $10,000 to record this one video. There's a lot of other things that I've used this stuff for. Okay, so soundproofing, yeah, a lot of the equipment stuff that we're talking about here, I'll give you links to everything in the equipment and share what I have. But the other thing that I want to talk about is what this room is all about and why it's so important. So as I mentioned, by day, this is a entertainment room. The cool thing is that this room is blocked off from the rest of my house, so it's behind a bookshelf. So if I come down the stairs in my house and I'm giving tours, I've been giving a lot of tours since we moved into this house, I end the tour always by opening up the bookshelf and showing people into this speakeasy. I'll cut that in here and just showing you how magic the experience is to witness this for the first time. Now in here, I have my collection of bourbon, whiskey. I have a collection of things like rum, tequila. I'm collecting a few different things: Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, Scotch, Armagnac, cognac, that type of stuff. I'm collecting a lot of different things. And then we have our wine cellar that was custom designed by our builder. So we have a glass door that separates the wine cellar, and we have capacity for like 1,400 bottles of wine. Right now there's about 800 bottles of wine in there, roughly. I haven't really counted it recently. It's too much to count. And then a bunch more whiskey in there. You might be like, well, okay, this guy's totally drinks too much, or there's too much in there. The reality is that I don't drink it as much as I collect it, right? This is a collection. It's a good conversation piece. It's a lot of fun. Having been a digital nomad for 5 consecutive years, I didn't have anything. I had everything that you could fit into a suitcase or a storage unit, and I sort of maybe went a little bit overboard decking this thing out. But that was sort of my dream. I was like, I'm going to do the nomad phase for a while. Then eventually I want to build my dream house. That's what we completed in 2021. And I built my dream room, my dream speakeasy. So this room has different purposes, but I thought that it'd be fun and intimate in order to record things from this room because it's sort of like who I am. This is who I am. Like, I love talking about business. I love talking about all these different areas of life, lessons learned. I want to be real to you, but real is like my environment, right? So this is part of what being real is being in my real environment, showing you my collections and celebrating it with you. You might be like, okay, I don't drink alcohol. Cool. I respect that. Not everybody needs to do that. You might say, I love alcohol. Can I come visit? That's cool too. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you want to come and visit me. But the reality here is that this is like a room that we use only on weekends. During the weekdays, it's unused almost entirely. And I wanted to do some cool videos in that. And I wanted to take advantage and to finally put all this equipment that I had out there. And while I'm doing this studio tour, I want to be vulnerable for a second too and just say that I've been wanting to do this for years, like in this exact format, and I've been afraid for a few reasons. One is I didn't want to like take down and set up the house, to set up this room that much. I thought that I needed to have somebody to do it. So I'm doing this operation on my own, which is a lot of inputs and variables, but it's actually a lot of fun. I was unsure about putting my speakeasy out on TV, on here. I wasn't sure that I should be putting this on the internet. But really, the other thing is I didn't like how I looked on camera. Ever since I moved into this house in late 2021, I got a personal trainer, I got weight sets, and I've been taking a lot better care of myself. And so this is sort of my coming out, trying to show people, just trying to be more comfortable on camera and just feeling comfortable in my own skin. Like, this is my life. And so I want this channel and I want what I'm doing here on YouTube to be who I really am and what I'm working on. But the reality is behind this tour is that this has been a long time coming, and I hope that you support me and are with me on this journey as I go through and come out to the world as to who I am and really what my life is like and the things that I'm doing. And I'm doing it from my favorite room in my house, and I hope that you enjoy it. And if you have any interest in doing video, or if you have any reservations, if this has hit with you and resonated with you, let me know in the comments or let me know by sending me a personal message. And definitely subscribe to this channel, because this is what we're doing now moving forward on this channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down over there and use it as a way to stay in touch with me and to see what's happening. This is the future of my YouTube channel, and I look forward to sharing in it with you.